All right, guys. So here we are finally to the Pocket Change Market Report. It's actually Thursday, November 7th, but this was all data pulled up from the last 24 hours of yesterday, so November 6th. So we're going to take a look and see how everything is shaping up here. If you got some of these errors and varieties and you're looking to possibly make a few bucks here during the holidays, this will give you a little bit of a market insight. Does it completely capture everything that you need to know? Of course not. It's a very deep and wide kind of sector of numismatics that has a lot more going for it. There are some coins that aren't really worth selling today. Coins that traditionally, if you think about it, and we're kind of playing off of the eBay fees and practices and things like that. Generally coins under $5, probably not really worth a whole lot unless you like doing a lot of the smaller work. Like for example, and this is like a classic case of this, the brand new 2024 Jefferson nickels, while they sell for a lot of money as sealed rolls, there's going to be people that want to sell the coins individually. It gives a lot of collectors an opportunity to grab one of those rarities, at their single coin price. In this case, they're typically going for about anywhere from $3 to $5. Again, it really depends on the seller. There are some people that prefer not to bulk or fight the price. They just want to pick one up. And when we take that into consideration, the shipping, not my favorite. Anything under $20, of course, you guys know you have that option for plain white envelope shipping, and those traditionally are around $1 for the postage. Given this time of year, if you wanted to do that sort of thing, be prepared to put in the work. The money is always going to be there, and it all goes into the same bucket anyways. But if you wanted to do that, yeah, by all means, go for it. Just realize that it's going to be a lot of work, a lot of shipping, a lot of administrative and very handsy type stuff. So I thought I'd let you know that. I had a few people ask me, well, if this coin is worth like $4, is it worth selling? So I wanted to bring that up. So we'll get into these selections again. We don't look at graded coins. Graded means that you're going to pay some sort of amount of money to have them encapsulated by PCGS, NGC, or some of the others. And oftentimes it's not worth it. The coins and the pieces you're going to see here today, they speak for themselves. They can't command pretty much the whole entire market for them. And you're going to see a few of them here that are just quite spectacular and all that those particular sensibilities of the grading. Grading is so hot right now, and people are under the impression that we have to grade everything under the sun, and that's just not true. So we, of course, also sell on the platform Whatnot. We sell on eBay. We also sell on Whatnot. A vast majority of our inventory goes onto Whatnot. It's one of our favorite live auction platforms to date. They really take care of not only their sellers but their buyers as well. It's not something that I could say the same about some of the other platforms that do the same thing. But I do know Whatnot is top notch in my book. So I use them as a supplement to everything else that I do. All right, so we are officially in full holiday mode here, guys. We have Thanksgiving, we have Christmas coming up. As far as the timeline that you guys need to know about, the market will, for the most part, be relatively active going into about the second week of December. So, consider that we're almost into the second week of November. It only leads, about 4 to 5 weeks of actual time that if you needed money today or you needed money for the holidays, you are in the thick of the most prime opportunity to sell your coins. Whether that's on Whatnot, on eBay, you name it. But getting back to Whatnot, we do shows every single Friday, and we even sprinkle in a lot of the what we call pop-ups, smaller shows. Typically, they run about an hour long, 30 to 40 lots. A lot of great stuff, a lot of great prices. Um, and now's the time to strike, guys. So come on down if you're not signed up, either as a buyer or a seller. Whatnot is heavily incentivizing new folks, new signees. For those of you that want to sign up as a buyer, guess what? If you sign up under me, my link's down below in the description box, and I'll also have it tagged in the comment section. You will receive $15 off immediately on your first item. It doesn't matter what it is. It could be a coin, a comic book, a sports card. You will get $15 off on your first item. And furthermore, for sellers, huge incentive that's still live as of right now. Whatnot will match up to your first $150 in sales through the first 7 days that you are on the platform. So make sure you put a sale on and you're ready to go to work, and they're going to reward you in a big way. You know, you sell $150 in items on your first show. Guess what? You really made $300 in gross profit there. So keep that in mind. Sign up today and get started today. It's a very easy platform to use. All right, let's go ahead and jump into these selections here. Um, Boom, $100 bill right out of the gate. I mean, it says a lot when a $100 bill shows up on a list because it's such a high denomination. You know, the juice has to be worth the squeeze. Okay, bar none. You guys have probably heard that expression before. So in this particular case, we have a relatively high grade $100 bill. You could tell just by looking at the note, it has no folds or anything. But what's most crazy, considering that we still consider these relatively um, kind of like more modern in paper money. So that's worth noting. So with all of the um, like the high tech that the BEP is using right now, it's really hard to see paper money errors coming out on the new stuff. Look at the reverse of this bad boy. Oh my gosh, we have a serious misaligned print on the reverse. So obviously the sheet was a little bit misaligned, cattywampus. You know, that's not the technical term, but a misaligned sheet is how this happened here when one side of the note was printed and all the other subsequent notes on that sheet. You know, and then we have something like this. Again, really scarce to see on a much newer issue. This one right here sold for $171.50 off of 5 bids. I think I'm a little bit shocked because I was expecting about 2 to 3 times face value for this one. So this one, in a way, kind of sold at a bargain price because we just don't see these out there in the collectible world today. Pretty neat sale here. And we also have another one that I love hunting for. I've found quite a few of these over the years, and that's even me living here on the west coast of the United States. 2,000 piece Sacagawea dollar, affectionately referred to as the Wounded Eagle type. It's also a cherry picker's guide variety. It's known as the FS 901 in the cherry picker's guide. When we look up close here, this one has what looks to be a couple of spears going through the eagle, which are really simply die gouges. All right, there was a little bit of damage on the die that translated into these raised lines here in the bird's kind of like breast feather wing area, and there's usually always two die gouges with this. Still a great seller. I was finding these in vending machines. If you cannot obtain any of these golden dollars is what they call it from the bank, vending machines are your next bet. I found probably 3 or 4 of them in similar condition as this in vending machines. This one here sold for $89.58. The market's still incredibly huge in spite of the what I consider to be a relatively high mintage coin. There's certainly a lot of demand to help match that as well. Really nice, clean 1955 S Lincoln Wheat Cent. And this is actually a common thing to find on these. It's actually the most common date, bar none, to find one of these die chips that's saddled in between the B and E in Liberty. They call these BIE die chips. The die chip actually looks like a letter I, you know, as it forms both letters there. This one right here sold for $8.64. While they're available throughout many dates of the Lincoln Cent series, this one here is the most common. So selling it for $8.64. provided that's a nice mint state red coin that you see here, is okay. That certainly works. And it's more than $5, I can tell you that. And even the earlier coins, there's a lot of great things to see here, but does it exactly add to the value of the coin? All right, a lot of people, you can talk to a lot of the old folks that enjoy older U.S. type coins, and they'll tell you, I don't want any minor mint errors. I just want a wholesome coin. So we have this 1853 braided hair large cent that popped up here in the last day or two with a little bit of a shallow sheet clip. You can see it there right around 1 o'clock at the top of the obverse there. Far from a perfect coin. It does have a couple nice deep scratches on the obverse there, which in sense kind of probably makes it a problem coin if a grader had looked at it. But nonetheless, this is a really minor type of mint error. It still managed to sell for $39. Believe it or not, it probably would sell for less because of condition alone, but maybe the clip might have pushed it over the edge a little bit in the value kind of factorization. Another one here that this one gets not nearly enough credit, but these are recognized cherry pickers guide varieties, and you can find them on a number of dates of standing Liberty quarters. It doesn't matter what grade they are, they're actually a very easy catch. This is a 1926 Philadelphia SLQ, very common date, and this one has what we call the clashed E, as you could note here in the this close up with the red arrow. You could see a clashing of E from E pluribus unum on the reverse of the coin in the drapery of the standing liberty that you see here. Believe it or not, a lot of people overlook these, but you can find them across many dates throughout the series. This one right here ended up selling for $33.68, and might I add that this is a coin based off of condition that's probably worth close to melt value. So you could be going through bulk standing Liberty quarters as long as they have a nice readable date and details to match. You could find stuff like this and make anywhere from 3 to 4 times your investment. These are a wise choice to cherry pick. The more you find, the more money you can line in your pocket today. Here's another piece of paper, and again, another very, very modern date. That's a 2013 series $1 bill with a gutter fold right there on the top right corner. Again, right, we usually don't see these out in circulation. They're often caught pretty early on through the quality control process at the Bureau of Engraving and Printing. So this one right here is not something that you typically see, but when you do, you better keep it. Here's another close-up of that, a little bit closer photo and much more crisp. Pretty cool piece here. This one ended up selling for $52 with 7 bids. And it's a note that has seen quite a fair amount of circulation. It's not the perfect note, like I had mentioned. And also check out some of the old scrappy or kind of like marginal silver, especially the bigger silvers like Walking Liberties, Franklin half dollars, Morgan and Peace dollars. Now Morgan and Peace dollars, they command quite a substantial amount more of a secondary market, I guess value. So these things are sitting right around $30 to $32 for very common dates, regardless of grade. And this particular one here, again, much like the large cent that we looked at earlier, has a sheet clip right at the 9 o'clock position on the front of the coin. You can see it on the reverse as well. So does this add more value above and beyond what a regular 1921 Philadelphia Morgan? Actually, it does. This one ended up selling, get this, for $58.95, which is just about 2 times the value of the coin. All right, how exciting is that? That's another way that you could kind of take advantage, make more money in the process, especially during this time of year when money, is a hot commodity that people are looking for, so that way they can afford the holidays. Pretty cool one there. And we also look at lots as well. Now, this is not the most stimulating of lots. Okay, the lot of 4 mint errors you see here ended up selling for $23.95 with 14 bids. it seems like a pretty good deal. And I think, based off of what I'm seeing here, we could probably get close to three timesing our money here. Let's talk about it. So we have two rim clips, the 61 nickel up top and the 1944 Lincoln Wheat Cent. You have a Jefferson nickel that's off center by probably like 90-95%. That thing's wild. And then you also have that broad struck 71D nickel, albeit the nickel does have a number of deep gouges and scratches on there that really would kind of wreak havoc on the secondary market on that one. So the two clips, easy. Throw them up for like 10, 15 bucks a piece, buy it now type listings. The off center struck Jefferson nickel, you're probably in at like 15 to 20 bucks on that one. And then the broad strike, put it on for like 14.99 or 19.99, something around there, and just let it ride. And then you sell all four of them. It's not going to be immediate. It might take a few weeks. Then that's where your 3x money is going to come into play here. So not too bad for $24. Just be on the lookout for lots because these are going to be sold as bulk, and each of the pieces will be sold at a reduced rate. There were also a couple really nice off-center Lincolns. Here's a 1980p off-center. I would say probably by about 30-35% on this one. It's nice. It's got a few light scratches on the reverse, but outside of that, this one is going to make its way into some sort of collection. People collect these by date. That's like one of the big draws of off-center strikes. This one sold for $22.45 with 9 total bids. Well done. Coins and cards, back at it again. It's actually a very nice one here. 1864 L on ribbon Indian head cent. This one also features some die clashing that's easiest to see on the reverse, right close to where the wreath is. But in addition, the seller did say that there was a little bit of a repunch date as well. Now, there is a close up of the date that we will look at here momentarily. But just a beautiful, wholesome coin. And it's a variety type that is quite desirable for a lot of collectors. Usually the L on ribbon commands a fair, decent amount of market above and beyond a regular copper or bronze 1864. So there's a little bit of a close up. Not a super powerful repunch date. I've seen way better for this one. You can see some of the repunching there at the base of the one and that bottom curl of the 8 there. So this one sold for $241.50 with 32 bids. And I think that's more of just the valuation of a nice XF40, 45 level 64 Indian head with the L on ribbon. Pretty neat one there. Here's also to go along with the 1980 is the 1972 Philly Lincoln Memorial Cent. This one's off center by about, I would say, 35% for this one. It might be damage or it might not be on the reverse where it says United States, but that might actually be some sort of filing damage, maybe as a result of the pack out of this coin in a bankroll. Kind of hard to say. But anyways, pretty cool one here. Not a date that we see that often, right? This is a tricky one here. $38.28, 16 bids. Very active auction. And here's a 1945 Lincoln Wheat Cent. This one is broadstruck. Yeah, pretty nice one here. Nice date too, but it's a date that I've found quite a few off center and broad strikes myself. I've owned probably half a dozen, but they were all 1945. So this one here, really nice condition as well. Ended up bringing home $51 and a penny with 21 total bids on that one. Another great looking piece, nice early date. And here's the one I wanted to talk about. I actually found a number of these, and it's this particular anomaly on the statehood quarters that has led to a whole bunch of interest. There's the In God We Rust Kansas quarter, but you can also find that same anomaly on various other states as well. The Kansas is just the more recognizable. So this particular seller found this aftermarket colorized Arkansas statehood quarter. But it's got a really neat strike through on the obverse, covering most of the word quarter there. Again, that's as a result of grease on the die, or it might be a little bit of a dirty die as well, with some clogged features on the die that leads to this particular anomaly. So the question and the morality is, should we acetone dip these to get rid of the enamel? I don't know. I'm a little bit kind of like 50-50 on it. Um, because these were all produced by some aftermarket company back in the early 2000s when the Statehood Quarter Series was hot off the rails. So this one right here, the seller even threw in all the other coins that came in this lot. It's not all 50. I think it's like 20 of them or somewhere around there, 30. Yeah, 20 more coins is what came with this one. So as a total group, headlined by the Arkansas Mint Error, ended up selling for $53.65. There are other similar strike-throughs on various other coins, that can command anywhere from $10 to as high as a couple hundred. It really depends on what it is. The more ridiculous the strike through is on some of these coins, the more money that they are going to be worth. It really depends on what coin also. There are some kind of like very niche type coins like what's a good example? Like the Washington crossing the Delaware, there have been a couple known wildly strike through, like grease and debris examples that have sold for 300 bucks. So, that's just kind of like a general idea of what the potential is for these. Here's a 1996 Philly Roosevelt dime. Nice, large, centered broad strike. Beautiful coin. Roosevelt dimes getting a little bit more love these days. This one sold for $26. And then here's the newest kid on the block. What do they call this? The Zitkala Sa or Ka or I don't know. It's I believe it's the final American Women Quarter for the year of 2024. And the seller did not have like full obverse or reverse pictures, but a few close-ups. What really matters on this one, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be this next picture here. But apparently, yeah, there is a doubled die that has been discovered, but I don't think has been attributed. Now note all of the red circles and ovals on this photo. That's all doubling. And it's all like right in the center of the coin, which helps support the class 9 or 10 doubled die, which is a single squeeze press doubling type. Yeah, the double chin on this one is crazy. It sticks out like a sore thumb, but there have been probably about a half a dozen of these that have sold all within a 12 to 24-hour period for like $30 to $40. So this one right here is pretty nutty too. I mean, we did see the emergence of the Dr. Mary Edwards Walker quarter. We do have another one of those, by the way. I'm going to show you here momentarily. But this one right here, the new double chin, sold for $40. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And, it's a new one. I don't think it's been attributed yet by Wexler or Wiles. So there is that. It might be to this point by the time this video goes live. But yeah, this one is got a lot of stuff happening. It's really neat. Beautiful one here. Now the coin itself is probably worth a lot of money just as a mint state coin because it's from the 30s. 39S Washington Quarter. This is actually a neat one. I forgot this one even existed. It's the double die obverse number one. Not the strongest doubling. You could see it pretty well on the date there inside the curls of the 9 and the 3 and the 1. But you could also see it on In God We Trust, most notably at the bottom of the letters there. So surprisingly, $129.52 was the sale price on this one. But I think, again, it's more of the date. The date really supports the value on this one. 1953S. I talked about this one. This is the one of the newer kids on the block. This is the FS 901 Acorn variety. Pretty cool one. I found a number of these going through some original bank wrap rolls. So the bottom bud to this leaf right here, or this branch, has a cap on it, and it's supposed to be just nice oval. It doesn't have the flared top to it. So that's where the acorn comes into play here. This one sold for $58.90. It's pretty wild. Again, pretty cool. New variety in the Cherry Picker's Guide as of the newest release from earlier in the year. Pretty easy one here. 1941 D Jefferson nickel with a defective planchet. It looks like some delamination on the reverse there. Pretty common occurrence. $15.90 is the final sale. We also have this 1889 Indian head set that was struck with some pretty dirty dyes. You can see it there on the reverse. There's a missing O and 1, and then some weakness on the top of the shield and the wreath. So there was a lot of impacted grease and dirt and debris in those cavities of the die. So it's not going to strike up all the features here. This particular one sold for $44.95. Nice little cherry pick for about $5 can turn into $45 pretty easily if you know what you're looking for. And this is a crazy one here. This is actually a legitimate die adjustment strike Vermont statehood quarter. Um, and it has just enough detail to know exactly what it is. He has some of the patterning of George Washington on the obverse there, and a little bit of what is on the reverse of a Vermont quarter that can be seen there. And good job, by the way, to the seller, pointing out a few of these features too. Um, so a die adjustment strike, it's one of the trials that the mint employees, use to calibrate the pressurization of the strike. It has to be kind of like the perfect pressure, so that way it brings up all of the design and details. So they have to do a little trial and error here, doing various strikes to ensure that the coins will be perfect. So this is probably one of the earlier attempts at that. So this one here, $155. There was someone, I'm pretty sure it's one of the big error guys that did pick this up. It's so notable, probably deserves to be in a graded holder, but it is a pretty wild one. Another neat variety, 1972. Pretty nice looking coin. It does have a few little carbon spots, but outside of that, this is the FS 108. Doubled die obverse. Ugh, that's a mouthful. So here's some of the doubling. The motto, "In God We Trust," Liberty, pretty nice there. And also the date. It's got a very strong doubling. One to be on the lookout for. This one sold for $84.54. And here we go, Dr. Mary Edwards Walker, another one. This one breaking the record ceiling of how much this one has been sold for. The last known price of the highest amount was like $129 and some change. Now we have this one here. This is the VDDR number one, by the way, highlighted by doubling on that star, and also the back of the hair of Dr. Walker. So yeah, this one breaks through at a sale of $206.51 with 4 bids. Outstanding. People are realizing the scarcity of these, as there's only been about a half a dozen of them sold since its discovery about 30 days ago, which is not a lot. And it's been talked about quite a bit. So you'd figure there would be more spirited hunting going on out there, and people are just not finding these. Holy smokes, what a bulk lot. This is a group of 20 off-center struck Roosevelt dimes. Most better of all about this one, I think just about every single one of them has a full readable date, and they're all different. So the group in itself sold for $454.99. That puts it at roughly $23 a piece, somewhere in that general area. And there's a lot of room to grow here. You could just as easily turn these around and sell them for $39.99 a piece. Buy it now, free ship, and you could make probably a couple, $200 or $300 here on the sale of these. And then there are specific dates that are much more rare than ones that we have seen sold on eBay within the last 90 days. So a few of these will be incredibly huge bombs that you could possibly ask 50, $60 for and probably get every single dime for it. Get it? Yeah, here's a little bit of the reverse on them. They all look pretty good. I mean, this is a kind of like a dream lot here. Sure, $400 seems like a scary amount of money to spend, but if you do your research and you take a look at the realized prices on some of these, you're going to see that is way worth it. There's probably close to $1,000, probably $900 in coins here. If you did your research and looked at some of those tougher dates, you would be all in on this one. Um, yeah, quite minor. This is one here to always be on the lookout for. That's a 35C $1 silver certificate, misaligned overprint. So you can see the top right serial numbers overlapping $1, and the blue seal is um, a little bit shifted southward from where Washington D.C. is. It doesn't look like much, but it did sell for $195.89 with 23 bids. Nice high-end note. There's a reverse there, showing just a little bit of a skew on there. Nothing too crazy. All the good stuff is on the front of the note. And we're going to end it off on a huge, huge banger here. This is a 1976 $2 bill with mismatched serial numbers. Take a look at that. So it's a BA block 5920, and this is where it gets different. 8364 and an 8464. So the third number from the end is the mismatched component to all of this. And it's a really nice, well preserved, high end crispy unk. Probably a good gem. It's centered perfectly when you look at this thing. It looks great. What a nice note. This one ended up being scooped up as a buy it now for $926.23. Is it worth it? Well, to the buyer, probably is. It's a very nice piece, and it's probably if I were going to grade this, it's probably a 66 or a 7, which that's all you need for this thing to really be impactful in a graded holder. So that's going to go ahead and do it for this one for the midweek. Information provided in this video is for entertainment purposes only, not financial advice. Please collect and or grade your coins responsibly. I'm your host Sean with Blue Ridge Silverhound. Thank you guys for tuning in again. That was a lot of fun, a lot of big timey type stuff. Sell now if you need money for the holidays. You're gonna be able to get your cash. If you played the 5 or 7 day auction game, you could get cash in your hand in as little as about 7 or 8 days from today. So there's not a whole lot of time remaining. Now's the time to strike if you need it. That's it. I will see you guys next time. Happy hunting. Best of luck. And yeah, I'll see you on the next one. Take care, guys.